Very simply put, I strive myself on being a man of my word and a man of the people. I told you 1,000 likes, another episode. You blew it out of the water in less than 15 hours. So we're gonna do another. I'm putting the same damn requirement. I kind of want to become one of those channels where people just like bolster videos to 1,000 likes without me asking you to. Let's see how long we can keep this up. I'm kind of interested now. 1,000 likes, another episode in 2 days. Just as simple as that. We're playing some more Farmer Was Replaced. A lot of you gave me some code efficiency updates in the comments of the last episode. Really appreciate those. I've done a little bit, not really much, to be honest with you. I mainly just let the code run for a little to collect some resources so we can get into some new stuff today. But one of the things that you guys brought up was right here, and this is really great code. I'll tell you, I just missed it. Like I didn't think clearly with this. We can take that giant modulo block that we had and shorten it to just an if x plus y mod 2. And that actually takes care of everything. This does the checkerboard pattern. If you don't believe me, ask the dishes. It's flawless, right? It makes everything just kind of work, and it's pretty cool. So that's really sick. A lot of you also said, Tyler, you're wasting like a crap load of water, which is super true because these tiles in between are getting watered even though we're not planting anything on them. Which is true, and I should not water those tiles, but on a completely separate note, these tiles can also have stuff planted on them. And this was something I just missed when reading. I assumed that trees, when it said that they wanted to have space, I assumed that meant they needed nothing next to them. No, this assumes, I mean, at least we can assume based on the wording here, that we just don't want trees next to trees. So we can actually tweak this to have other crops in between it, and then that actually just makes everything a lot easier, because we can basically get more wood out of the script. So I think what we want to do is the else block here is that we will, well, you still probably want to have an if can harvest here. Also, to the person that said in the comments, I like to read all your stuff for the people that try to tell me how to code. There was one person that was like, you should just be harvesting. There's no reason to use if can harvest. It's just like not true at all. So harvest here, if you harvest an entity that can't be harvested, it will be destroyed and you won't get the resources. So you're just wrong. and I appreciate the confidence, but they were like, you're wasting code by writing if can harvest. You can just harvest and it'll not harvest it if it can't be harvested. You're super wrong. So I hope you fix your code in the future. We're going to have this plant bushes, and basically this becomes an entire script just for wood, right? So now you should see we're planting trees and we're planting bushes. And I mean, it looks a little screwy because the bushes look a lot like trees, but our efficiency of collecting wood, I mean, you can see this is freaking crazy, dude. Like, it is an alarming amount of wood that we're able to collect really quickly when we implement that. So great call on you guys for that one. Let's reset you. Let's get our place back to square zero, and let's take a look at some unlocks, right? The big one today is we're going to delve into pumpkins. Now, a lot of people said, Tyler, pumpkins are going to break you. If pumpkins break me, so be it. I think I'm going to be intelligent and maybe look at what pumpkins entail, step away, figure out some code, and then come back. But I know you like my thought process and stuff like that, so we'll see. It's more for my mental sanity in the comment section. So unlock pumpkins. We'll look at this shortly. I want to do some other stuff too. We need pumpkins to expand. I can't do any more grass. I mean, we're at 800% yield on this. I'm not too concerned. Our speed is super high. I can make my carrots get a little bit better. I could probably get some more hay and do this as well. So let's get carrots here. What are utilities, by the way? This is min max. Trading multiple items at once, I'm really not concerned about that right now. And then unlocking sunflowers and power. We're gonna do pumpkins first today, and then we'll do that. But I kind of want to do, I mean, I guess tree carrot upgrade is best. So let's just run we'll run this in the background while I... Oh, yeah, I also, another code efficiency thing that I did, I moved the harvest out of here and moved it into here instead. And basically the reasoning was that we were planting and then harvesting the next time around, and then planting and then harvesting. It was just slow, right? You can do the harvest and then immediate plant in here, and that just speeds this up like a lot more. So that was one other little thing that I did in between episodes. Get this going. Let's read about pumpkins. So pumpkins grow like carrots on tilled soil. I'll leave this in view for the TikTok brain generation. They require pumpkin seeds to be planted. They cost 1 carrot each. Okay. When all of the pumpkins in a field are fully grown, they grow together to form a giant pumpkin. Okay, the yield of a giant pumpkin is the cubed side length of the pumpkin. Okay, so a 2x2 pumpkin is going to be 8 pumpkins, a 3x3 is 27, a 4x4 is 64. It's a good idea to get pumpkins as big as possible before harvesting. The problem is that about 1 in 5 pumpkins will die before they grow up. That means even if you plant a pumpkin on every tile in a square, one of the pumpkins may die and prevent the mega pumpkin from growing. A pumpkin that dies will simply disappear so you can plant a new one. Okay, we can work with this. So, first things first, we need pumpkin seeds. That's a no-brainer. So let's at least, we have, do I have a trade function? I really don't have just like a basic trade function. So let's implement one of these first. This is just going to be for one-off trades. And I want to get, we have 5,000 wood, right? So I kind of want to also do a trade for entities dot, nope, items dot, is items dot, and then empty tanks. We can buy so many of these, right? So while num items of our items dot empty tank is not equal to, let's just do another like 300 of them, right? Because we're going to be watering. I think that's fine. And that way we basically just make a bunch of new ones. And it barely burns through our wood min. And this way our water is just collecting. With a 4x4 grid, this is enough empty tanks to get us through life at this point. And then let's get some items dot pumpkin seed, okay? And we'll get like 100 to start. It's 1 carrot per, I believe. Is that, yeah, 1 carrot per. So that's pretty easy as well. And then we'll build in the logic for that momentarily. But that way we can get some pumpkin seeds to work with. So what we want to figure out is we want to figure out how to detect, because we're going to basically make it where we want to build the biggest pumpkin, right? 1 in 5 will die. It is what it is, right? But the efficiency here, he says it's a good idea to get the pumpkins as big as possible before harvesting. Even if we replant, so let's do some math, okay? We're doing math live. So I have 16 squares, okay? 1 in 5 is going to die before they grow up. So if we have 16 squares and a 1 in 5 chance that one dies, that means that about 3 pumpkins are going to die each time that we plant our grid. Is that an accurate statement? I think that's accurate. 16 divided by 5 at that point. Because we're planting 16, yeah. So about 3 are going to die. We could just harvest at that point, and I mean, let's work it out, right? So if 3 die, here's what I want to do. I want to get a representation of this so we can look at it, right, and see exactly how this works. So let's just do, very simply put, let's add a new area over here. A lot of you also said, Tyler, wouldn't it be intelligent to just assign numbers to these? The answer is yes. I'm mainly waiting for unlocking dictionaries and lists, but we're not quite there yet. So I'm like, we need 2,000 treasure chests. I don't even know what those are, right? So we're getting there. Once I get dictionaries, this code will make a lot more sense. But for right now, I'm just going to continue my comment out system that we have. So entities dot pumpkin and current crop item equals items dot pumpkin. Okay. I really just want you to plant these once. So let's reset farm to tilled. And then really I just want you to plant like one one line of pumpkins. We really don't have code for this, believe it or not. So let's make a new, just a really quick, it's gonna be a copy paste of this here. Loop the entire grid. And inside of here, we will just do a, we need our move east at the bottom, we'll do a plant, okay, plant, entities dot pumpkin, and then move south, and then we'll just do a move east outside of here. A lot of you also said that the reset drone to top function going east makes it less satisfying when it's over here. So I'm going to change this to move west. I hear you loud and clear. Okay. This is, I mean, you guys, you definitely have some some opinions, but that's okay. So this should plant us pumpkins, and we can see how they grow. Okay. So in this case, we had, the average, right? We had 4 that died. We had 2 that generated 2x2s. So in this position, if we harvested right here, we would get 1, 1, 8. Do pumpkins give you 2 per? It looks like they give you 2 per. When pumpkins are fully grown, they go together. So the 2x2 gives 8 instead of 4. The yield of a giant is the cube side length of the pumpkin. How many will this give me when I harvest? Let's calculate. So in my eyes, this is 1, 1, 8 for 10, 18, 20. I think this is 20. So let's reset. Okay, that was 20. So one pumpkin is a singular pumpkin at that point. Plant these again just to get another layer. So 3 died again. If we were to replant, so this is actually the exact same scenario. This would give us 20. Even replanting and getting this singular one right here nets us a 3x3 and is officially better, right? There's no there's no doubt in my mind that is better. So you definitely want to get the pumpkins as big as possible. He says it's a good idea. I wanted to run the math and just make sure. The yield of a 4x4 is going to be so much higher, right? So we have to write some code. I've done a lot of yapping. We're 13 minutes in. I haven't written anything, but this is how it goes. Okay, we want to write code that, we're going to do something like this, but we're going to want to do a check that the entire grid has pumpkins. Okay, so if we'll basically want to do a if can harvest. And if that's true, then you're going to just move on, okay? So just do a pass for now. Else, we will plant a pumpkin. So this is the start, right? This way, it goes through, it tries to put on everything. Now, why did you not plant there? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Oh, because you're still... I moved this under the else. That's my bad. That's why. Okay. So now that we had another one die, we plant another, and then there's the giant. So we really, it's go until you go until our can harvest Okay, I got an idea. Whether or not it's efficient, I don't know. But I got an idea and I'm coding live, so it's whatever, right? I'm gonna keep a tracker of how many times each one of these gets called. Okay, so we're going to have it's going to be a variable called total grid. Okay, and this is going to be our get world size times our get world size. Okay, so theoretically, this if I print out total grid here, total grid, we should see 16. Yeah, I mean it was 16, whether or not you saw it. This is 16 because it's 4 by 4, right? So now total grid, we can have a tracker of harvests, okay? Or maybe we just call it like checks. It doesn't really matter what we call it, but we'll start checks at 0. And we're basically going to do a look in here that if can harvest ends up failing, we're going to do a checks plus equals 1. Okay? Which basically just means we're taking checks and we're setting checks equal to checks plus 1. If you like this more, that's fine. You can shorten this to plus equals. This is also a really great time to mention. A lot of you were like, Tyler, you should make some Python lessons. I actually have that. I'll hopefully link it in the description. I made some videos a couple years ago where I actually taught Python programming on YouTube. There's only like 5 or 6 videos, I think. But they're like good enough to get you started. So if you're interested, I'll link those. You can find them in the description. So if we can harvest, we will just add 1 to the check. And essentially what we're going to do is set up this function to be while checks is not equal to 16, just loop this, okay? But at the bottom of this loop, we are going to reset checks equal to 0. So it's basically going to scan through the loop, and we're going to add just a little nice hello at the bottom of this, okay? Because realistically, it's going to loop through our grid once and then print hello because checks will be equal to 16. We're trying to check and make sure that every single tile in our grid has a pumpkin on it, okay? So it printed the total grid, and we've entered an infinite loop. Okay, what did I do? What did I do? So if can harvest, I mean, we really don't need a pass in here anymore. If can harvest checks equals checks plus 1. So you're going to check. This is potentially because we don't have you at the top of the grid. Is that the issue? No, you're still infinite looping. What do I have wrong here? Oh, because we reset checks at the bottom of here every time. We want to reset checks at the top of here, inside of our loop. So we'll enter, it'll be 0, you'll loop the entire thing, see if it's 16, and then leave if not. Checks has not been defined. We'll have to define checks outside of here as well. Checks equals 0. We can get rid of our print statement there. You'll do your check, and then we'll print hello, because we've made it out of here. So now we can set up where if we are outside of here, then harvest, right? And it's really just that simple, because we know that we will have a 4x4 harvestable pumpkin. It's just that simple, actually. And now we have 84 pumpkins. So if we set this up on an infinite loop now, we could set up a requirements, right? We love requirements in this house. We also, if you want to do proper coding techniques, then total grid should be a global variable, right? This is then total grid, right? That's how we make this scale with our world size. In case a lot of you were wondering why I defined total grid and then didn't use it, which is that's a great question. That's a great question. That's all set up there. Now we can set up a requirements variable. This is also going to be plant. I mean, we'll keep these as a similar convention. This is plant crops tree. This is hay But this is now actually, there's no reason to have bush in here, because we'll just have tree. And there's no reason to have pumpkin in here, because we're never going to do that. So this is for hay and carrots, which maybe I can spell out now. No, we cannot. I wish that I could get a little bit more. I could just, like, add stuff here. We're going to rewrite this at some point to make it function-based, because we can chop some of this out and make this a lot smaller while we have all of our other code. But for right now, it's fine. Requirements equals, how many pumpkins do I need to unlock? I want to expand the farm, so 200, that's friggin' nothing, man. That's going to be one run of this. And then we'll just do a while num items of entities, just kidding, items dot pumpkin is less than requirements. We'll do this entire loop. And this is, I mean, this is pretty good, actually. I really don't mind this. We'll make sure that right at the start, we reset drone. And then we'll do a reset farm to tilled. What did I call this? Harvest grid. Okay. So we'll reset the drone. We'll harvest the grid. And then realistically, we should keep the place watered as well. So if you plant a pumpkin, if you, we're going to have this set up where if you plant, yeah. So we'll do a water me, before our plant. We'll do a water me, and we'll do, I don't think it has to be very high on this one. We're going to go 0.4 for this one. Because the pumpkins are going to, in most cases, they're going to grow pretty fast. Well, maybe even go 0.3. They're going to grow pretty fast because we're, well, I mean, I guess we want them to grow as fast as possible. Maybe we still want this. Wait, we got 350 water, man. I'm not too concerned about the water right now. So let's run you. You're going to harvest, scan. You're going to plant pumpkins. You're going to keep going through planting pumpkins until you make a mega pumpkin, and then you're going to harvest. Now, clearly, you saw a couple of inefficiencies in there. You're also in an infinite loop right now. Why are you in an infinite loop? When num items of items.pumpkin is less than requirements, and while checks is not equal to total grid, which checks is right now. We need to reset checks down here. Checks will equal 0. The fact that I reset checks equal 0 3 times in this is pretty inefficient code, but that's okay. It gets the job done. That'll get us out of the infinite loop. What we saw as a small problem here is there's some inefficiencies with once the giant pumpkin gets created, it still scans, right? So instead what we can do is we'll just keep track of new plants, right? So if it plants in a spot, well, but then we have to keep track of deaths as well. It's inefficient. It works. I mean, it definitely works. We got up to 200. I can unlock, I can expand my farm, which that way we now have this nice bit of land. And now, I mean, we're going to watch this work pretty well with pumpkins, I'm going to tell you. It's scanning. Why are you not planting pumpkins? Ah, because we're out of seeds. Okay. Yeah, you should definitely do that too. So we will add in a check right here that if, so before you plant, if num items of items dot pumpkin seed is less than 5, right? I just like having a couple extra in the bank. Then we will trade pumpkin, trade items dot pumpkin seed. That way that keeps going. Eventually what we'll want to do is be able, if we want this to go full idle, we will need to do things like check, do I have enough wood If I don't have enough wood, then run plant crops tree for a little bit to get the wood back up, and then you're able to get some more pumpkin seeds, right? Something along those lines. But I don't mind this. I think that it's efficient enough for me. I hate this though. I really hate that. But there's not like a clean way to do it. Dictionaries are going to make this much more possible. Because I can basically, well, and lists are going to make this more possible because I can just basically store a copy of the grid inside of a list, right? And then that way we can create, we'll end up creating basically can we do classes in this? Maybe not, which is fair. That's pretty fair. Lists are 1,000 pumpkins, 1,000 carrots. My idea is basically that you would recreate a copy of this grid as a data structure inside of your code, and then we can keep track of each spot and basically assign like a P if we planted there, or well, but then you still have to track if it's dead, right? Is it possible to check? Here's another. How long does it take for pumpkins to die, right? They will die before they grow up, right? They'll die before they grow up. But it's not like an immediate... I'm at the requirements. That's why that's not going. Just let pumpkins go for a little bit. We're gonna set this to 2,000 and watch our code have a good time for right now. I'm watching them. Yeah, they grow up and then they die, right? So it's not like we can do an immediate check on did it die, right? It's just, okay, come on. It's still wildly inefficient, and I really hate that. I hate that it does the entire check again. We need to be able to keep track of whether or not there's a pumpkin on a spot, but how would we do that with our current set of items? I just don't think that it's possible. I think that this is really the most efficient that we have for right now. You guys will probably have a better solution. But you know what? For me, pulling it out of my butt without doing any simplicities, this I think it's not too bad. I think it's not too bad. Our pumpkins will start to grow. And we're having a dandy of a time. So pumpkins are doing good. What's our next unlock in the future? I hate that I can't be on this menu. Oh, it's still going. Okay. I don't care about measuring performance. We're gonna mess around with sunflowers and power in the next episode. I can definitely unlock the min, max, and absolute value functions, which are fine. And we're definitely going to want to get ourselves lists here soon so that we can start to do some stuff with that. But you know what? For right now, I'm relatively pleased. Quick and dirty episode, planting some pumpkins. Let me know what you think about the code. Let me know what you think about the efficiencies. We're out of pumpkin seeds again. This is, you know what? Let's build this out. So we're going to, if num items of items.pumpkin seeds is less than 5, and if so trade returns, I believe trade returns false. So trade returns true if it was able to buy the items, otherwise false. So if trade pumpkin seeds, if not trade pumpkin seeds, right? So this will be if it's false, then we will trade for carrot seeds, right? Oh no, we would have to plant carrots, right? We would have to, this actually starts to get way more complex. So if that, this is currently not a function, right? So let's let's define this as a function, which is plant crops with the type of crop that you want. Right? Yeah. And then also but this, we would then, I need a generic plant crop function, okay? I need a very generic plant crop function. And we also need like a generic trade function that we can toss in. Okay. So this is going to be our trade, okay? This is trades, and we're gonna define a function that is trade rec. That is going to be, we toss in the item we're trading. We'll call that item to trade, item TT, and our requirement. So while num items item TT is not equal to requirement, then trade item TT. Okay? And then we can basically start to do if trade item, what did I call this? Trade rec. If trade this is more of a train wreck than a trade rec. If trade rec of items dot pumpkin seed, because that's the item, yeah, and 5. So that we're not returning anything from this though. I also have not actually defined this function. Okay, I'm sorry. Brains in. I got too many things going inside of it right now. I feel like we can end up in another infinite loop down here, because we're not actually returning anything from here. So we can say we need this to return a true or false if it succeeds, right? So while num items item TT is not equal to this, that's fine. But if I can't trade, right? So if this, if not this, meaning that it's false, then we will return from this function. And basically return a false, right? And then we can say if trade rec this is false, I mean, we could do this. If it's not false, then keep trying to go. I've made this way more complicated now. So if we can't trade pumpkin seeds, is what this says, then we need to plant carrots. Okay, so this will then be plant crop entities dot carrots. Okay, and then inside of here, we've got plant crops, which is this entire giant thing, with the crop that we're planting. We want to basically just do this once. So we will make it where we can pass in a requirement. Okay, that gets rid of this requirement variable. We'll change this requirement to rec. Our current crop. This is now where we can, if we had a dictionary, man, this makes it so much easier, right? This makes it so much easier. But that's fine, okay? That's fine. Plant crop carrots with, let's do 50, right? And then this can actually be while not trade rec. So if it fails, it'll loop it again, right? And then over here, I'm writing a lot of code that I'm not testing in the process, so this could get a little bit messy. This requires a colon. So if this is now a dictionary in the future, I promise you will be better. If crop equals entities dot carrots, then current crop is those. Else elif crop equals entities dot grass, then it'll be this. Okay, And then realistically, if you wanted to have good proper code, I'll fix it in the future. We'd get rid of these are not constant variables anymore. We'll keep water percent as a constant variable in this function. We could make that a parameter in our function as well. We can get rid of this. And we can start to do some more wacky things because now we can use our trade function again, right? Over here. So if trade rec of items, if you're not completely lost right now, then I'm impressed. If items.traderec, if not items, how do we do it over here? I've made this way too complex. We did a while not trade rec item carrot seed this. So if you can't get enough carrot seeds we get from wood and hay, then we will do. Now we're getting recursive, which is even messier. So we'll do a plant crop of entities dot grass for a requirement of 500. And then we will do a plant crops of entities. Well, you're gonna actually now do trees, man. So then you're going to we gotta make this be a function. Requirements is gonna go away. This is going to be plant trees. Okay. We already have plant trees though. This is just calling this. Okay, we can just call plant trees. Nah, because we still need the requirement. So I mean, we can definitely just add it here. That's fine. Make this pass in a rec, okay? And then we'll do a while num items of items.wood is less than rec. Do all of this, okay? This can now just go away. We don't need it anymore. We're making it where we really can't call any of this. We'll need to make like a master function that I can just do some one-off calls from. But we'll get there when we get there. If you don't have carrot seeds, then you need to plant trees. We'll do a rec of 500 as well, okay? And then it just goes, right? And then it just goes. And then this was for our requirements, which we would want to set up a while current crop item is less than rec. Keep looping. Is this an infinite loop? So now if I need to plant pumpkins, we should see it jump around and do. It's immediate error. Plant crop has never been defined. That's because it's plant crops. Very fair. Okay, very fair. So now you're going to go. Now you don't like this. The operator less than cannot be used on operands items.caret and 50. That's because this is num items of current crop item. Sorry. Yeah. That's good. Just have faith. This is going to work. I'm in an infinite loop of it doing nothing. Brilliant. So while not trade rec, we're in an error up here. How the hell am I in an error up here? The maximum call stack size has been reached, likely due to too many recursive function calls. It's pretty fair. Do this again for a second. Yeah, we're stuck in this. So while num items of the item here, so while items.caret seed, for which we have 5 for the record. So while this is this has to be less than rec because it is equal to it. We got stuck in an infinite loop because it was equal to it. So this needs to be less than. I am not beating the allegations of not being a proper coder. Hold on. While num items of item TT, so that's items.caret seed being passed in with a 5. while it is less than rec. It's equal to it though, so this should just exit the loop. Am I crazy? Should that not just exit the loop? That's the function that's failing. It's because it's doing... Check if you have enough carrot seeds. It's doing this because... Well, hold on. It's doing this because it... Something with my trade function is very, very wrong right now. I need to figure that out. I think I've made this very weird by implementing a lot of double negatives into here. So, while not trade rec, I guess we never really return true outside of this. Is that the issue? Yeah, okay. We never actually... I figured that there was an inherent return there. Okay, so now it's... Oh, what are we doing? Well... I mean, this is not correct, all things considered. We need to basically... If we get into this trade scenario, we then need to reset the drone, harvest the grid, and then go again, okay? And just keep the ball rolling. So it's going to harvest everything. We're going to make sure that we plant our pumpkins. It's going to perform some trades in here. Make sure that we have the carrots to do so. It's gonna do pumpkins. This should go for a while, until we run out of carrots, okay? And once we run out of carrots, it should start to plant carrots now. It's gonna be a little bit before we see that. Let's speed this along, right? Because I'm going to trade carrots. Can I just... Takes 500 to unlock sunflowers. Here, it's 300s for the multi-trade. That way we speed through that a little bit faster. Okay. I know we don't need to reset the drone and harvest the grid, that there's inefficiencies there. But I think it's nice just to put us on a nice even playing field immediately. So that it's not too horrible. So this is now where we should see... We're going to... Very soon, you're at 39, it's gonna be the moment of truth, and then everything's gonna fail and I'm just gonna abruptly end the video. So that I don't have to fix it in the video. And then I'll fix it offline. Okay, you're good. Now you're gonna reset, you're gonna start planting carrots. Okay. Until we want 50 carrots. We have more than 50 carrots, so now you're gonna start doing pumpkins again. Now, we have a small issue that is, we need to check if the ground is, because this is now an infinite loop. We need to make sure that we're harvesting all of the carrots in here. The reset, interestingly, the reset drone and the harvest grid, I think that we ended up, these carrots didn't grow fast enough, man. Which is fascinating to me, because I feel like they should have. But we can do a check-in here that basically says, if can harvest is just used to find out if the plants are fully grown. Do we have a function that is, I need to look at our available functions here. So, is there something that lets me know what is actually under the ground right now? Get entity type, what kind of entity? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so if can harvest, so if get entity type equals, is not equal to entities.pumpkin, then if So if get entity type is not equal to entities.pumpkin, then we are going to harvest it. Hold on. Then we are going to harvest that spot. We don't care about whether or not it's grown. We're just going to harvest that spot. And then we're going to have a elif that if the get entity type is equal to entities.pumpkin, then we'll make the checks be checks plus 1. Else we'll do this. And this should now, I got an error here because I didn't add a colon. Very fair. So reset this now. I mean, we got 500 carrots, so, but now we have an issue here. If it's not equal to pumpkins, entities.pumpkins, or get entity type is not equal to nothing, right? Is not equal to, is there a entities.soil? Returns none if empty. Or get entity types is not none. Is that, are you okay with that? You don't like the is. We can probably just do a negated not get entity type. Are you okay with that? No, you don't like that. Oh, this is an and, not an or. Sorry, Boolean logic. How about now? No, you still don't like that. If it's not pumpkin, and this is, oh no, this is none, and get entity type, so this would return none. Can I just do an equals none here? You're really not supposed to do equals none in Python, but yeah, you don't like that. If it's not equal to pumpkin, hold on. If it's not equal to pumpkin, or it's none. I was right with the or. No, because that's still gonna do it, dummy. And or not none. If the entity type is not equal to pumpkin and is not equal to none, then you will harvest. But if it's not equal to none, it'll keep going. Okay, sorry. that was probably the most painful part of this episode, and there's probably been some painful parts in this one. But this is not bad now. I think that, I mean, we would have to test a lot further to get these carrots. Like, it's gonna take a little bit for us to, I mean, I can expand the damn farm, which does get fun. Now we're just in an infinite loop, but that's because the code was still running. We don't have stuff set up for doing that. This is very satisfying to watch now. This is gonna chew through pumpkin seeds to get maximum pumpkin. I mean, it's really going. It's having a good time, for sure. It's not efficient, I'm gonna tell you. I mean, it's really not efficient. We'll find ways to make it more efficient. But that's gonna be a huge undertaking, I'm gonna tell you. Because I'll have to think about that. It's not bad, though. It's really not bad. This is just gonna go for a while. And the really nice part is that we're getting a crap load of pumpkins on every harvest. So the efficiencies, I don't really care, because this is netting me, let's see. Yeah, that's like 250 pumpkins on each harvest right now. Well, it's 5 by 5 by 5, right? So that's 125 pumpkins per. It might be more. I think it's only 125 though. Where's pumpkins in here? Pumpkins, yeah, it'll be 5 times 5 times 5. No, it's 6 times 6 times 6, bro. So that's 36 times 6. Yeah, that's over 200. I'm not gonna do that math in my head. It's like 218, somewhere in there. Something like that. It's well worth the time to make it, right? And it works out pretty good. We reached our requirement on it, so it stopped. And honestly, that's even better for me. A little messy, okay? I mean, I'm not going to deny it's a little messy. We can definitely improve this over here and break out. Basically, we create a simple plant helper function to handle some of this in here. But moving trades into its own, this was just to get empty tanks. We can get rid of you now because I can just call trade rec. We'll want to make like a main function that we can do some testing in, but honestly, a lot got done in this episode. Stay tuned for next. We're going to immediately unlock sunflowers in the next one and work around with what that means. I'll probably also try to get lists going. So the reality is that I want to start planting crops on carrots to get up to. We're going to need like 2,000 carrots. I'm probably going to write that little main function offline that I can just call to do some, simple, I need some of this kind of stuff. But lot of code, good things. You know the drill, 1,000 likes. I'll see you in 2 days. Otherwise, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.